the system has a lot more to offer if you're willing to start gathering data and using it. And so that's where you really start to get out of maybe the what I like to call the tier one low hanging fruit of searching and finding. No more lost stuff. Usually the hey, that's great. That's their first thing, but you can use this at a higher level and start to really get some interesting information out of this. One really great way to do that is to divide your facility up into zones. So we're going to go back to the server now, and I'm actually going to create some just basic zones. And you can see it's not a very complicated process. I'm just going to click, 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 click. I'm just making a desk zone for myself here that my two tags will register in. So now I've made a desk zone. And what we typically ask people do is divide up their facility and name their zones according to what they call it in their SAP or in their standard ERP or MES services. That makes it easier to correlate the data later. So now my tags are pinging here and they're registering in that zone, right? Why is that important? Well, this allows me to then denote that those tags have done something. They've left or they've entered. It can gives me an action that I can do, right? They're in the zone, something needs to happen. They've left the zone, something needs to happen, right? And so this now gives me a nice trigger event to do something with. You can take that and create some very nice, basic, simple alerting from our system out of the box. It just very kind of simple. A tag rule, for instance, can be added here where I could say send to a database event table or send over service and events to my machine through Windows notification. Those are the two supported ones currently, right? Send it to an event table in SQL, send it to my machine as a Windows alert. Give me tag entering zone for any of my line two assets when it hits the desk, and it has to hit the desk 3 times in a row to be sure that it actually hit there and notify me right away 0 minutes. Just a nice kind of basic way to give me a Windows notification on my computer that that happened, right? Oh, line two hit my desk. Oh, I want to know that. I want to know that on my machine, or send it to an event table. Sending it to the event table becomes even more powerful. Now, um, we've worked with some teams to create custom modifications to this to go into email, for instance, or text, right? And so we have the ability to add some services to this platform to customize and specific needs. That is usually incredibly different and custom across the different use cases and companies that this is used in. So it doesn't come out of the box that way. But if you need text or you need email or you want it to do XYZ, something we can usually add as part of our services package. But those are the basic alerting functionalities, basic reporting functionalities, basic search and find, sorting, that sort of thing. I could go a little bit more in the weeds there, but I'd prefer to go over some of the more raw data stuff because that tends to get a lot of ROI, and that's how a lot of people have been able to really get the juice out of the orange is taking these notifications, this hit desk, this left desk, this hit desk, this left desk, taking that and then utilizing that to find your flow and find your bottlenecks across facilities. Because if you think about it, that's your production path. Is everything hitting the new machine? Is it being worked on or is it not? And so you can start to take that and take it. I have a sample database on my computer. Usually this is going to be in corporate cloud database. They like to call it a data lake, something like that. The data that comes through, it's the same kind of data. You get, in addition, your location, right? But you have a timestamp, you have your battery, you have your arena ID that you're building that becomes important in campuses, and you have your zone, right? So you can see here's an example of something. Oh, this is Boeing. It's work order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's product type 2. All of that information becomes important. Really, it's timestamp, what zone it was in, and this information. That's what you want. That's how people start to really aggregate these sorts of things.